Our next speaker is someone who just is dedicated to education with incredible tenacity, and together with his team, Superintendent Brady and Steve Smith, brought the Providence energy and commitment and planning to this work. And without that commitment, and we'll be hearing from both Steve and Tom as well, we wouldn't be where we are. And so we want to hear from Mayor Cicilline.
Thank you. It's wonderful for me to be here with all these great education leaders as we celebrate the progress we've made so far and commit ourselves to coming back a winner in this next phase of this. I think, like the other mayors that are here, providing a quality education has been a top priority for me as mayor of the City of Providence and for my whole administration. I'm really proud of the work that we've done to improve academic performance, to make investments in infrastructure, to strengthen our curriculum. And this has been really hard but important work. But I think what we're seeing today is really the results of incredible strong partnerships with stakeholders that have been really invested in this process, including our wonderful teachers, our great administrators, parents, and students themselves who have really contributed to this progress. And as a city and as a district, when we learned about this opportunity to apply for Race to the Top funds, we all understood that this was really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to advance the education reforms that we began, to really ensure that we were preparing our kids for success in college or entry into the workforce, to be competitive in the global economy of the 21st century, and to provide expanded professional development opportunities for our teachers, and to really invest in our schools that needed the greatest amount of help. The infusion of tens of millions, 126 million to be exact, of federal funds will help not only our district but our state advance many of the reforms that have already begun and really accelerate student achievement in a very significant way. And I think it is very important to recognize as we get ready to go to Washington to make our case that this is really more than just a conversation about additional funds. This Race to the Top process and this application has already allowed us to really accelerate education reform in our district and in our state, and to support some of the current innovation that's happening in classrooms and outside the classroom with extended day learning. And I want to just say for a moment how incredibly proud I am of the role that the City of Providence played in this process. I want to thank our superintendent and the incredible administrative staff he has that worked on this very hard. I thank him for his leadership. I really want to thank our Teachers Union President, Steve Smith, and all of the Providence teachers who really embraced this model, who became part of a really effective partnership, and I think have showed the country the kinds of things we can do together in the spirit of cooperation and with collaboration. And I want to thank Steve and thank the great teachers in the Providence Teachers Union for their partnership.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I am honored to be here and represent Providence. It was 2 years, as the Commissioner talks about recent memory. 2 years I was sitting in I was standing in Mayor Cicilline's office, pledged to come in as Providence Superintendent in July. And it would be hard to believe back then that we would be reconvening here 2 years later on where we are in terms of being a city and a state. And I would tell you it would be from the leadership of the mayor, who set the foundation of reform efforts that were needed in Providence, and the school board that has steadfastly stood by those reform measures. And so I am very, very thankful to the mayor for his leadership, and the school board and Bob Wise for their steadfast support and reform efforts. So I want to thank them very much. And as we go forward as part of Team Rhode Island, I think that we added some value to the application, and I believe it was from the practical things that have been happening recently. And what we really have to point to is the way of change management and the way we can do it cooperatively. And so as we work with the teachers of Providence, as witnessed by the leadership of Steve Smith, I'm very, very pleased to see that's the course of action that we're on. And so I thank him for representing his members and signing on along with the school district for the Race to the Top. And finally, I know it's the Sweet 16, and I know we're going to get to the Final Four, and it's so important for the children of Providence and Rhode Island that we're successful. And I want to thank you very much for your support.
I never received this many applause when I was here as a state representative. Governor, leaders of the House, the Senate, Mayor, Superintendent, Chairman, and Commissioner, thank you for joining labor on this great endeavor as we move education forward. It is great to be back here in the House and the Senate. It's also going to be thrilling to leave before the bell rings for 4 o'clock. But this is a significant time. And yes, there's been many accolades thrown not only at myself but Providence teachers. And I'd just like to state for the record that the real challenge is not being president of the union. The real challenge is being a classroom teacher in the city of Providence. And I am joined by an outstanding team, members of my executive board who have supported not only this effort, but every reform effort that we have undertaken in the city of Providence. I congratulate them for being here. I want to acknowledge the work of Dave Abbott, who spent probably more time than he would have liked to talking to me about this endeavor. But at the foundation of Race to the Top, as mentioned by previous speakers, is collaboration, more importantly, partnership. That's what is being expected from the federal government in order for this to work. And I have to say, if it wasn't for the efforts of Mayor Cicilline and Superintendent Brady, the weekend before the final signature had to be entered, if it wasn't for their efforts, having numerous conversations, numerous discussions, where I got to the point where I could sign knowing that we have a partnership. We are equals at the table, and we are committed through collective bargaining, through collaboration, to do what's in the best interest of children in the city of Providence. I want to thank both of those individuals for really taking the time and showing their leadership in a very important time for the city of Providence. Tom, Mayor, thank you. Providence teachers are somewhat competitive. We're going to win this. But the real work and the real challenge will begin then. Numerous discussions, efforts, hard work to bring about the changes that are needed. The changes we're already working on. And also for the record, Providence teachers will enter any discussion on evaluation, on teacher placement, on compensation. We are not afraid. We also want to hear from the classroom teacher and what the classroom teacher needs, the time they need, the support they need, the ability to actually teach uninterrupted, to deal with our most neediest students. That's the discussion we want to have. That's the discussion we look forward to. We're there anywhere, anytime, as long as the conversation is good for kids and fair to teachers. Thank you.